Guys, my brand new horror short, Cheating Death, is now available on YouTube. It's been getting rave reviews, and it's possibly one of the most fleshed out projects yet. Make sure to tap the link in the show notes below, or go to McAllister Visual Media on YouTube to find a copy of the vid. Hey guys, before today's episode, I want to give a big shout out to the guys who made this episode possible. Upload Media Group. Located right in the heart of Cedar Rapids, they host the Confused Breakfast podcast along with several other shows in the area. This company has been heavily involved in the rise of the podcast front in Iowa, and there's nobody else that I'd pick to record a podcast with when I'm visiting the homies who are just chilling in Cedar Rapids. So, if you need something recorded or just want to check out some cool local content, check them out at their website at uploadmediagroup.com. That's www.uploadmediagroup.com. Stutterbox Productions is a backbone for many of the events that you see in the Midwest, from EDM festivals to late night hip hop shows. This company has been working closely with this podcast since the beginning, and we always have plenty of things planned for the future. So, if you're looking to plan your next Get Gear event, head over to their Facebook page to learn more today. All right, everybody, this is McAllister's podcast. I'm your host, always, Cole McAllister. We are in the Upload Media Group studio here in Cedar Rapids. I almost said Cedar Falls. I almost get the two mixed up. One's way better than the other.
Right.
So shame on me. But we're here with two good friends, returning guests, the young creatives, Mobz and Juan Gomez. How the hell are you guys doing today?
Well, let me turn my phone off.
I'm
good.
Thank you for having us on. We are in Cedar Rapids this time. I think last time we were in Des Moines.
Yeah. Came to our old stomping grounds this time. Appreciate having you, bro.
The better city. But
Yeah.
No,
I don't know about that.
Kidding.
They're both pretty good.
All the Iowa cities, man. We traveled so much that like all the Iowa cities kind of just like feel the same at this point, man. Like, it's always like a bunch of creative people that just haven't like broke through on the scene yet. I feel like the scene just needs more people that believe in it. Every time I go somewhere,
really
like, I feel that way.
It really does. But you know what? I think as I see people from both, my neck of the woods and your neck of the woods grow, I think we're going to continue to grow together. We have
absolutely.
I mean, by the time this comes out, it'll be way past. But the hip hop showcase, we're all going to be at that tonight. That's kind of an example of everybody kind of branching together. So
Exactly. Yes.
hell yeah. So let me ask you, what have you guys all been up to since we've last had you on? I think it's been over a year at this point, probably about a year and a half, right?
A year and a half.
Yeah.
A lot. My brain's like kind of cycling through everything.
I think the last time we were on with you was February or January of last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. So it's been over a year.
I think that was right when we got back from England.
Yeah.
Before.
You guys were working on a film, I remember.
Okay, yeah. So pretty much, Young Creatives is a catalyst for all of our Mine and Juan's creative, crazy, out there ideas. It's stuff that we're really confident in, and stuff that maybe we're just trying to get more affluent in. So everything from music videos, commercials, we're always shooting those. We're always throwing events as well. We have a Spring Fling Festival that's coming up May 20th. Hopefully, if this comes out before or after. If it's happened, it was lit. But so pretty much what I've been focusing on, what we've both kind of been focusing on is really like creating more content, like creating content from the content. Because we always create music videos. We always create, like our own behind the scenes kind of stuff. But starting to realize that, like TikTok and social media and Instagram and all these things, like you really need to be flooding these markets. So something I've been focusing on personally is like really trying to get this content in like long form and short form, just like really kind of flood the market. But our movie is like the main thing. That's like the main project that's on the horizon is the superhero movie Mob Squad. Actually gonna leave here and go straight there to do some audio with an actor. So it's really exciting. But yeah, I think those are like the bigger projects. I mean, Juan's got his own stuff going on. That's the cool thing about Young Creators. We got our own individual stuff, and then we got the stuff together as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys are able to merge all that together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for Mob Squad, I think in the last year since we've last been on the podcast, we finished the special effects for it because the way movies go, it's like you have your rough cut, and then you add your special effects, and then after that's done, you have what's called picture lock, which is just like okay. What you see here, all the clips are all the same. They're all like the perfect amount of length. The scenes aren't going to change. Everything's good. Now we just got to focus on the audio. Yeah. So you replace any dialogue that was maybe a little bit fuzzy the day of, or like didn't sound as high quality, you dub over it, which is what Riley's been doing.
Yeah.
And then after that's done, then you add in all of the symphony orchestras, the sound, the score.
The sound effects, which is pretty cool because there's a superhero movie, so it's like a lot of fighting and stuff in it. So like punch sound effects, like I can't wait. I'm gonna go to Hy-Vee and grab like a big like brisket piece of meat and just beat the shit out of it in the studio and just get all the punch sounds and like, you know, it's gonna be really cool. Like there's scenes where we need like lightning hitting ice. So like just imagine all the crazy things you could do, like everything from like snapping a bunch of carrots to like scratching on metal surfaces, like all that cool stuff, man. Like that's the cool part we're in right now with the movie is like all the fun sound stuff.
Wow. Yeah, and I've done a little bit of Foley myself, but like doing that for the whole movie, I can imagine that's just a whole fun little process.
Yeah.
Just getting in a little dark room, being like,
all the footsteps all the footsteps, and then you realize how much music. So when I first did like the rough cut, like pre-special effects, like pre-recorded audio, was just the raw camera files. I just wanted to play the movie because like it was finally done, or in my opinion done, which was not fucking close to done, right? Because when you're 22 and you made a movie, you think that it's done, right? No, it's not fucking done. There's so much work. There's like you're like 20% of the way there and you have all the scene shots. So I was editing it and I was just like throwing in sounds that I knew weren't final, but I just wanted it to feel more done. And I put like a bunch of like, you know, Mission Impossible like background music and like all these sounds I didn't have the copyright to, but just to like hear it. And I was like, holy shit, this is dope. So now we're in the process where we're going to use our sounds that we've created, and like I know that it's going to be even better than that original. The first draft that I saw. So I'm just like, man, like I'm so excited. Sound is like the number one thing when it comes to like making like a media product, like movie, like even this podcast right now, like the reason why people are gonna watch is because it sounds good, but the mics were muffled and the camera was all fuzzy. It's like, bro, I don't care how interesting you are. This is unbearable, you know? So that's the cool thing.
Your brain, when you're watching a movie, your brain will forgive bad image quality, but it won't forgive bad audio.
No. It cuts the whatever the reality break.
Yeah.
The illusion.
It's like, oh wait, this is technology and this is bad technology that's happening right now. Like, so you could, it's kind of unforgivable, honestly. Like, but because it's so unforgivable, it's also the thing that can make your film way over the top. Like adding those punch sound effects. Like you can think a punch like doesn't look real on camera, but as soon as you add a punch sound effect, you're like, oh no, holy shit, that looks real. It didn't change anything in the visual, but the sound is just so convincing that it almost manipulates your eye.
Yeah, using different sounds for different. Like we just edited, or I just putting out a short film called Cheating Death, and for one, I was editing it, and one of the scenes where he's strangling her, we just did like a rope sound. We just did like a rope tightening. Yeah, it works. There you go. Like if you are able to dissociate that, you're like, oh, this makes sense somehow in my brain, even though what I recorded isn't. I didn't choke somebody literally. Obviously, you know.
I mean, the Star Wars sound effect, the blaster, the boom, boom, is like wires. It's a wire. It's like a high tension, like I think it's like an electrical tower, and it's like a wire coming down to stabilize it, and he just like flicked it, and it's like that free sound is now like the most iconic sound, arguably, in the entire universe, next to the lightsaber, which I think is also another creative way they made that. It's not even like what you think. It's not like some super digitalized. It's something. It's like some like hum that they pitched, and did something.
It was
to
like a factory hum of something. Were around.
But yeah, sound is amazing. It's the number one thing in a movie for sure.
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy is when you're editing sound, you realize that what you're portraying on camera isn't what it always sounds like in real life.
Exactly.
You have to accentuate it even more. And you think a lot of the times when you watch a movie, you hear like a car explosion. It's like, oh my God, you shoot the tank of a car and it explodes immediately. It's like movies have like this like suspension of disbelief that is not 100% like real life. And you always have to like emphasize that even more. And that's one of the things that you learn about when you're editing a movie is that a lot of the times what you shoot on camera is like real life, and that's boring. You have to accentuate it even more with sound and visuals and sound effects and special effects, I would say.
Yeah, no, your job is to deceive the audience. Literally. I mean, you're lying to the audience. That's like a good filmmaker, a good videographer lies to the audience.
Yeah, you have to manipulate. You have to, make them believe the delusion.
Exactly.
The fantasy. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm curious to know about your short film, Cheating Death. What process are you on, and like when is it going to be out?
So it's completely done. It's going to be, by the time this episode comes out, I think it'll already be out, but May 19th. Is the release date.
Friday.
Basically, it was my final for my project, but we had a lot of resources. We had some black magic, some great, some great equipment. So I was like, "Fuck it, let's do a short film." So we did that. Basically, it just follows like a couple who like the boyfriend reveals to the girlfriend that he's been cheating on her, and then in the middle of that whole scuffle, serial killer comes and invades the home, and it's a whole homage to, like, the B horror movie type of fun little horror slasher type stuff. So it was really fun to do that.
Like it sounds good. I can't wait to see it, man.
Yeah, thank you. But it was a real lesson in like learning, and you guys could probably emphasize on this too, is like limiting what you can do in a day.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like I had like halfway through the shooting day, I'm like, we're only gonna be able to get like, however much of this done.
You filmed this in one day?
Yeah. It was like I edited like actual footage. It was about 3.5 minutes worth of footage.
Oh, okay.
So it was like
it's quick.
Yeah, no, like the last 3 hours was just one shot. Like, okay, we're doing it. We're here. All right.
Well, that's very similar to how we shot our first short film, Wake Up. It wasn't our first short film, but it was the first one we won an award for. We won Best Short Film at the London International Film Festival, and it was a film about police injustice, and it was really cool. But we literally we started shooting like past 4 p.m. and the sun was going down like halfway into the shoot. So every clip, like if you watch the film, like the movie gets darker and darker as we're shooting. And we had a rough script. We had like kind of what we wanted to happen, but like I would say honestly, bro, like half of what you see is improv in that film. Jake Trumpert's in the film. Shout out Jake. He killed it. Sage Spiker, Jay, Duce. I'm missing some people that were involved as well. But like that film was probably the first time I realized I was like, sometimes you can improv and it work. Sometimes you can, you don't have to be married to the script. We just did a video actually yesterday about this, like how married you should be to the script. And I just feel like if you, like what you said, you have the things that you need to happen, but you're realistic about the time. Like, be realistic. Like, don't be overly ambitious. Be ambitious with the idea, but don't be overly ambitious with, like, the execution. Like, don't assume that actors are going to do more than you told them to do. Don't assume that, people can stay later. Like, really, like, ask, clarify. After you've clarified, clarify again. Like,
exactly
3 times, and all this before the shoot, because things change and the film industry is literally just, like, the most unpredictable thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, and, we ended up having to cut, like, the last page of that script. Because we had this whole reveal where the woman was actually cheating on him too, but like we got, it was 3.
Shocker!
Yeah.
Was it a double? It was a double twist, huh?
Yeah, right.
A double twist.
She's like, well, here's the catch. Oh, so we're both pieces of shit. Got it.
Something like that.
No, but it's cool that like that speaks to your creativity to have an entire ending, an entire page, one page of a script of a movie that's already like less than 10 minutes, right? Like
it was originally 5-6 pages.
Oh, okay, so how long is the film in its entirety?
Well, without credits, it's like about 3.5 minutes.
Wow, so like to already have such a limited like concept because you're trying to like get a point across in like a few pages to be able to eliminate a whole page, but then still come to the conclusion that you want and still feel like proud of the product. That's pretty impressive, bro.
Yeah,
honestly,
thank you.
Because I've seen a lot of people just break down on set. I mean, he's been a part of movies that like they just didn't come out because it's just the person was just like overly stressed or just didn't have the resources they needed and they just gave up.
Put too much on their plate. Yeah,
to put too much on their plate and ended up just throwing it all in the trash instead of trying to save it.
Yeah. I'll say my experience without naming any names or the project or anything like that. But essentially, there was a writer producer from Malaysia. Wanted to come to America to do a fan film, and they hired a director who was also like of that same nationality. So they felt, oh, okay, you're also like Asian and you do film stuff. Like, let's work together.
No one knows who it is except for we've limited it to Malaysian travelers coming to Iowa.
No, but
there's so many.
Nobody knows.
No, I know. I feel.
But anyways,
they'll never find out.
The director basically was like, hey, I can direct the film and I can edit as well. Like we don't need to find an editor. I could do special effects, and that was the single thing that made the film not come out. Because the guy didn't know how to do special effects. Now it's just an editing limbo. It's been like 4 years.
I was confused because if he's a director and can do special effects, like did he not like pick up the cinematography skill also? Like,
why do you do everything?
Like how do you even know how to edit? Like Like I like
did
me
you
personally,
skip a step?
I learned to edit after I learned how to shoot.
Yeah.
Like how do you learn how to edit but not learn how to shoot?
See,
like,
I was kind of that way though. I kind of learned. I don't know. Maybe it was just the way I was taught. And I think a lot of COVID had a lot to do with it too.
Oh yeah.
Because I ended up there were all these production classes that were worked into the program, but I ended up stretching it out, taking all the editing stuff while we were in lockdown. Then kind of later on, we ended up doing shooting. So I can understand like how somebody could.
But you took a class though, right? But if you were like self-teaching yourself,
if
you were like, okay, I want to make music videos, you should probably get a camera and learn how to shoot music videos and then learn how to edit your footage. You can't because what's gonna happen? Like, who's gonna shoot your footage? Like, So I don't know. I just feel like people put too much on their plate. and aren't realistic with their like, and that was me. And the reason I can point those people out is because I was that maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Like, shit, the first project we ever wanted to do, I was like, bro, let's do a superhero movie, 80 actors, 2 hours long, over 30 locations. I'm like, what? Like, where are these resources coming from? What is the end goal?
Cost $500 million.
Yeah, literally, and then it's still in the process now. Like, I didn't have a mustache when that shit was being filmed. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now it's like we're almost different people, but like we put ourselves like he actually did go to film school, like not like specifically film school, but like studying arts and film in college, and then but it was like that film, like filming the superhero movie, was like us putting ourselves through film school.
100%.
Like he said that, like, and ever since he said that, I was like, bro, that's so true, because all the problems that happened during that film. There's not been a new problem that's happened. Every problem that we faced in like another corporate gig or like another creative gig, it all happened already. Like someone showing up late. Well, the first time that happened was at our superhero movie. Someone quitting a role. Well, the first time that happened was our superhero movie. Yeah. Like everything, all those first bad things, losing equipment. True. First time that happened was in our superhero movie. Like all these things happened, and I'm like, bro, we literally just like failed really fast. Like we just got all the like losing the memory card, losing the file, like all these other fucking just mistakes that we made. We got it out of the way early. And I feel like that's why we're more confident now. And so I tell people, I'm like, bro, fail faster. Like if you're, it's not perfect, let's not put it out. It's like, no, put it out, because even if it is perfect and you put it out, you're still gonna wanna do better. So just put it out. Like, why are you waiting? You know, like
exactly.
You don't get, it's harder to make a movie. Like you can make 10 songs in one day. You can't make 10 movies in one day, dude.
That's very true.
Like they're not gonna be good.
That's I wanted to speak to your point about cutting your short film and making it even shorter. I haven't done too many short films in my life, but I heard that it's way harder for a short film to hit versus a feature film or even like a 30-minute short film.
Really?
Yeah, like they say it's
hit,
really hard to make, just to make it good, like in terms of like the plot points and like the overall, like the way the arc comes through. Because think about it, you only have 5 minutes for the audience to care about this character and the outcome and everything. Versus in a film, you have a whole hour and a half to make.
But you can make a 20-minute short film though.
Yeah,
our short film was 15 minutes.
Which would be easier. Yeah. So
well, and also my counter to that would be
the
like
less time you have, the harder it is for everything to hit, because it's got to be really simplified and dumbed down, but it's got to be really good.
You don't get as much character development.
Yeah, that's the biggest
one thing too. Yeah.
I would also argue though that like I think giving somebody 5 minutes is a lot easier than giving them 90 minutes.
Yeah. I think it's harder to make a short film that sticks with someone and like they want to like, oh my God, I want to put all my friends onto this, because you don't get as much character development. But I do think it's more conceptual, like when it comes to like getting people to watch an entire project of yours. Like I know for a fact there's people that have probably supported me my whole life that won't watch our 2-hour superhero movie. Like and it's not that it's bad. It's not that it's they just like, I don't spend 2 hours doing a lot of things that I probably should spend 2 hours doing. Like there's albums that I love of artists that I haven't listened to all the way through yet. It's not that I don't love their music. I just don't have time. I'm allocating other things. So I don't know. I feel like making short films is just easier if you're a filmmaker. Honestly, if I could do it again, I would probably hold off on making the superhero movie, like, or at least like tone it down and make it a little bit less ambitious. Maybe make it a 30-minute, just like a maybe instead of it's 5 superheroes, it's 1, and it's more simple. Yeah. Because I feel like because it was so ambitious, we didn't put the project out when we wanted it to be out, and now it's kind of like, oh, we're dropping a movie that maybe isn't like our utmost best skill level, but it's because it's 5 years ago us.
Yeah. Sure. So, that's very common though.
I wish we would have put more short films out.
The Blair Witch Project was shot with like, I think it was like $30,000 back when it came out.
Sounds right.
And then they pitched it to studios, and then the studios were like, all right, it's good, it's got potential, but the audio, the editing is just really crappy. We're gonna give you $250,000 to spend just on the editing and sound design. So like think about like all that goes into that. So I feel like the superhero film still has a lot of potential, especially with the sound. Yeah. So it's like you're bringing it up and you're putting like new layers on it that weren't there before.
Oh yeah. And it's just my own brain, because it's like an artist who makes a song when they're 10, like they're probably not gonna like that song when they're 15, 16, 100%. That's how I kind of feel. I'm like, there were moments that like there's cliche superhero stuff, and you need some cliche stuff in a superhero movie. Like they're all built off like dun 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 dun, like that moment, right? Yeah. But there's so many moments where I'm like, oh my God, I'm clearly trying to be the Dark Knight right now. Like this scene is like so like, trying to like light it the same way.
Yeah, we all do that though. That's all of us. Literally, when we start out, we all do that.
But that's why I think it's so important that Ed Sheeran won that case. Not just like switch the subject like that, but like I think it's very important that Ed Sheeran won that case, because we all kind of like emulate styles of things we've seen, whether we're intentionally doing it or not.
Yeah, good artists copy, great artists steal.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, and I don't think that it's like stealing to take a chord progression. Like like that's music theory. That's like, I stole 2 + 2 = 4. So you can never
Yeah.
do any equation that involves like, no, bro, like you can't own variables.
Yeah, chord progressions are pretty limited in terms.
Yeah,
of
like there's not unlimited chord progressions. Like
Yeah.
if I was going to side with the Marvin Gaye thing, then first off, every other artist that exists that you've ever known is getting sued. That's the precedent. And then two, on top of that, now I have to make music that I might not even like just for the sake of being original and not copying anything. Now I got to go fucking find some instrument from Switzerland that makes some weird ass that plays in some weird ass key, and now I'm like singing off beat and like slapping my knee on like what am I supposed to do? Make music that's never remotely been heard before? Like that sounds rather impossible at this point. You know, we've had hundreds of thousands of years of music at this point.
Yeah.
You know, ever since tribal drums in Africa all the way to jazz and folk, and hip hop is literally built off of sampling records from the 60s and 50s and
exactly.
70s. So if this court case goes that way, we should eliminate hip hop then, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because the entire
100%.
genre is built off that. So, you know, I thought it was good that he won, and I'm glad that, you know, for all musicians, like, keep sampling, bro. Like, do your thing. Like, don't steal, but be inspired by who inspires you. Like, that's not a bad thing.
No, I agree. Well, filmmakers do that too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you talk about like chord progressions. I mean, you know, we can say what we do is as complex as we want, but really it's pretty, you know, there's only a few different things you can really do. You know?
I've said it in art a long time. Like, there's no new ideas, man. Like, there's some dude in the 80s who wrote a lyric that Adele's singing today and everyone thinks it's hers. Like, there's some guy who wrote that, though. Like, there's some guy who told this story before. You know, like, I don't think, like, the only thing that I think is expression is new. I don't think stories are new. I think expressions are new. Because a story, to tell a story, you have to be able to think of it. And to think of it, you have to call on things that have happened or things that you want to happen, or they probably have happened. Like if I tell a story about a serial killer, well, people have been murdered before, so that's not a new story.
Yeah, you want to
like,
pull
you
from
know,
experience.
Yeah, like every movie is like either based off something, or even in its like most extreme, like sci-fi, like Star Wars. Okay, it's still built off of honor, good and evil, right? The light and the dark, the balance of yin and yang, right? The dark side, like those are all concepts that have existed to us for thousands and thousands of years. So to think that I'm gonna create a new idea is rather, you know, it's kind of idiotic. Like I'd rather have new expression. Like no one's been me before, so I can tell these stories in my way, and that's what's unique. The story itself isn't, but the way you tell it. You know, just like how if we did the same thing, you tell a different story.
That's very true. We definitely live in a postmodern society where there are no more ideas. Basically, literally everything has been done. The only thing that you can do is take ideas that were done and mix them up together to create something new. Think of it like cooking. Like you can't reinvent chicken Alfredo, but you can like create a chicken Alfredo fusion. You know what I mean? You know, I equate it to cooking a lot. It's like sometimes it's not. Sometimes you don't want to create a new dish. You just want to create the dish that was already made, but
season it differently.
But season it differently.
You know?
You're like making it like as good as what people think it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, because especially the new generation, I feel like they won't really remember movies from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, they probably
So
won't.
like, I think it's a good idea to look back at those movies and take inspiration to make something new and bring it into the 21st century.
Facts.
I think that's a good idea.
But
But yeah, there's no more new ideas, you know. Like just
There
mix
isn't,
and
man.
match, you know. Take all the Lego
there's a
bricks you
difference
want
between
and make
expression
something
and
new.
idea. Like an idea, like even the fact that you want to write a song. Well, writing a song's not a new idea.
yeah.
You weren't the first person to write a song, but you're
Yeah.
gonna write a different song. You know, so it's all about expression, I think.
Well, thank you for crushing my dream.
No, great. No. Your dreams, fuck them. Fuck all your dreams. Everything's been done before. You're not unique. You're not unique. You're not original.
Okay, let's think.
No one is.
Let's think. What's the last original movie that you guys think was like, oh, that's original? I've never seen that before. Like, what's one that comes to your mind? I'm trying to think. Like, what was one? I think maybe Everything Everywhere All at Once.
They're all built off archetypes and concepts. Like even a character, like one of my favorite films, probably my favorite film. It won Best Film. It was like the first foreign film to win Best Film. Parasite, the South Korean film.
Such a good film.
That was
But
original.
the concept is the shit we talk about every day in politics.
Well,
the
that same
have versus the
director-
have-nots.
Yeah, that same director did Snowpiercer, which is about classism. It's like the same.
Yeah, it's
theme.
like the same, exactly. But
Yeah.
see, he's seasoning it differently.
Interesting.
But the same
Exactly.
concept exists,
That's like
right?
his style, yeah.
Yeah, but that's beautiful though. Like
Exactly.
wanting to have a new idea, there's ego in that. Like, oh, a new idea means I'm the first to do it. It's like, why do you want to be the first to do something? Like, like if you're the first to do something, but it's not really the first, you're kind of in denial. Like, I would rather make a song that you've never heard before, but it might have stylings of, you know, John Mayer or stylings of, you know, A$AP Rocky or whatever. It might call to that because that's what I listened to growing up. But I think that's good. I think I am my influences, you know?
Yeah.
Society, life,
100%.
art, I am my
Yeah.
influences. So if I didn't want to be that, then I wouldn't be being me.
That's I
personally.
think that's a very good tip for artists. I don't think you should take inspiration and copy where you can, but just make sure it's authentic to you, what you like. Don't just steal from somebody else or like copy someone else's style because you see them do it.
Yeah.
Think about your own inspirations. Like, did you really like wrestling growing up? Did you really like swimming or sports? Like, take inspirations from that and then come up with something that really is passionate for you.
Well, and people are going to recognize if it's not authentic, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I always say is like people know, like people can tell like who you are. Like that's why when I do my review show, if like a motherfucker starts rapping and it's like, it sounds like you're trying to prove to us that you can rap. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to do all this like miracle, spiritual, like you're just like you're trying to prove that you can hit the syllables, but in doing so, you're taking the soul out of the music, which is supposed to be the expression. Like, and that's in the studio, and that happens with acting, that happens with painting. Like the moment I paint something that I'm proud of, it's the moment where I'm not trying to be intentional. Like I'm not trying to be like, okay, it has to be this way, and if it looks this way, then it's not gonna be blah, blah, blah. Like the moment you start doing that, like you're taking the soul out of what the art is supposed to be. You have to go with your gut. And the hardest thing is when you become an artist or wanting to be, you know, you say you're an artist, you're not really an artist yet.
Yeah.
You're trying to become one. But when you're an artist, when you truly become an artist, it's when you find your voice. But finding your voice is trusting yourself. It's not like, oh, I know how to sing now. No. Your voice as an artist is who you are, and you have to trust that. Like if I write a song and I get 2 minutes into the song and I'm like, oh, I don't like it. It's like, but you liked it 10 seconds ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're overthinking. You know, and I do that a lot. Like in the studio, like John, my engineer, shout out Soundbox, he has to tell me sometimes like, bro, no, this is good. Like, cause he's heard all my bad and good. So I have to sometimes check with people. Like, is this like, am I bugging right now? Like, is this on par with like my skill set or am I like dropping the ball here? And he's like, no, bro, this is fire. Like, keep going. I'm like, okay, cool. You know?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Let's dial back to your film. I want to ask you guys, we are just real quick.
One more topic or so.
So you've been working on this film for quite a bit. What's it been like working on a project for this long? Like, has it felt, really gratifying? Has it been tough at times, I'm sure? Just talk about that, what that's been like.
Yeah, you can
doing a project for that
take
long.
it first.
I would say, okay, so the film has been worked on since December of 2018.
Yeah.
We're now in 2023.
We started the business in 2018 as well. So.
Yes. I think if anything, now it just serves as like a time capsule. Like you look at it and you're like, wow, this is like back in the past. Like when did this happen? It's almost as if you're taking a look into an alternate reality now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, wow, did this really happen? Wow, we're actually making this movie now. Like it's almost done. Like we're at the point where we're putting the cherry on top. Yeah. And it's a bittersweet moment, I think, but it's well needed. I think this movie's been needed to come out. People have been asking us for the last like 2-3 years.
That's the hard part for me. I was gonna say it's been like super eye-opening. I love it. But the hardest part is like the actors who spent like a whole year like helping us film and stuff, and then them asking like, hey, when's the movie coming out? Because usually if something takes 5 years to come out, it's usually just not coming out.
Yeah.
So like I just don't want people to think that because it's coming out. I promise. I promise. And it's gonna be freaking dope. It's gonna be epic. There's over 80 actors in it. We filmed, oh my God, all the locations. It's literally like the biggest shout out to CR I think a movie's ever done, honestly.
That's
like
awesome.
Rob Merritt's just a name drop because I like to name drop. We got Rob Merritt in that joint. We got Tessa Smothers. We got Ben Rollins. We got Alan Boatger. Who else we got? We got Isaac Burris. We got Juan Gomez. He gets murdered. He's in one scene. He gets murdered real quick. But you know what I'm saying? Got myself. I play one of the superheroes. So man, it's just the movie. Literally, like he said, is a time capsule. All of our friends, people we met via business, but now are closer friends. We're a part of this movie. So honestly, man, it's like. When this comes out, it's almost going to be, like you said, bittersweet. But I think it's going to be what Iowa needs, honestly, truly. To see that it can be done. An original, not a fan film, an original, creative production, feature film with everyone that you know and love from Iowa in it. Like, that's
I agree.
The goal.
Yeah, like we've seen fan films.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do a fan film because you love superheroes, good. But my problem with fan films is like, you're never gonna make it as good as Spider-Man or as good as Superman.
You get no credit.
You know what I mean? So just make your own original thing and
films
make it
are hard.
smaller.
I agree.
Yeah.
I want credit for the film I make. I don't, like I said, don't need it to be a new idea, right? But I want you to be like, oh, you tried to do something that we hadn't seen before. Like you came up with superheroes with different names and different powers, and you didn't just go, oh, let's just do what's done. Like that's worked already,
and that alone is interesting. Like there's a we've all seen superheroes with electric shock powers. Like that's not new. But our superhero has a TV head that has electric shock powers. So he's already like biomechanical,
He's
like
just different.
Terminator. You know what I mean? So I think that's original. Like we put our own spin on things.
Hell yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, very, very.
That's awesome.
Excited.
Guys, that's a great note to wrap this up on, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Young creatives, Riley and Juan, what you got coming down the pipeline in the next couple months?
I'm always working on music, so I have my next project. Funny, we just used the word bittersweet because that's actually the name of the project.
That's the name of the project, yeah.
Got some Night Drive music on there for you guys, and the movies. Like I said, my allergies have been acting up all day, so I'm like crying right now. It's probably because I'm with them McAllister. I haven't seen them in so long. But music, movies. We have events. This summer, I think, is going to be one of our most legendary summers because I think we're going to be moving soon. And it might be the last Iowa summer for us, unfortunately.
Okay.
But
That's
we're going to go out with a bang. We're going to go out with a bang.
Well, I'll be there then, for sure.
Yes,
Awesome,
absolutely.
Yeah. I'm debuting a summer line I started a clothing line over the summer called Outsiders. It's like it's like another separate entity of just like something that I'm jumping into. I literally started doing screen printed shirts this past August. So it's been a journey, and I'm releasing a summer line just consisting of like shorts, light t-shirts, and tank tops. Just to like feel cool over the summer, but also like look edgy and cool. Because the thing is, like, I don't want people to try too hard to look cool. Like, just grab that dope shirt,
Casual.
and then you're cool, and then
Cool
you're
and
not like
casual.
sweating
It's
too
very
much. and you look
anti-cool
nice.
to try, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
what
can't
I
try.
mean? Literally, I picked up this shirt this
try to
morning.
do
It was
Just
wrinkled.
like how you can't
from,
try to
college.
rap.
Yeah.
Stop trying to. Like, you just got to rap and sing. Like, the moment we feel like you're trying to do it, it's like, ugh. This guy's a fucking tryhard.
You're not Eminem, buddy.
Yeah, you're not.
All right, guys, it's been
Hell
a fucking
yeah.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Appreciate you, man.
Always a
Coming through.
pleasure, bro. Always
Hell
a
yeah.
pleasure.
Guys, every Monday and Thursday at 7 p.m. You know it. McAllisters.com. Go check that website out. That's where we got content. And also check out the Patreon if you want exclusive shit.
Hell yeah.
Pay me, motherfuckers.
Some crazy
Come on.
shit behind that paywall, motherfucker. Some crazy shit behind that paywall, okay? Go ahead and drop that money.
The shit OnlyFans wouldn't let us put out.
I was just about to say.
Yo, let's go spend it on some Wendy's anyway, dog. Just fucking go ahead, throw that.
Exactly. All right. Peace, everybody. Have a good night.
Peace.